Hey guys, Keith Rucker here. You know, most people know me from my YouTube channel where I'm doing all kinds of machine shop type videos, and for the most part, it's really more of a hobby for me than my profession. What I do in the real world, real life, is I work in agriculture. I'm actually a scientist that does agriculture research, and here I am outstanding in my field where I'm in actually a peanut plot where I'm doing research work for the company I work for, and I basically do crop protection research. And this field that I'm standing in here is actually exactly what I do. So we've got in this field peanuts planted. These are young peanuts, and this is a field that we're testing for disease control with a fungicide. And we've got treated rows, we have untreated rows, we have one of our products in here, we have one of our competitor products in here, and we're basically testing everything to see how they compare. And this is basically what I do on a day-to-day basis. I have a degree in agriculture. I actually have a bachelor's degree in agronomy and a master's degree in crop physiology. Sounds real fancy. I'm basically a plant scientist, and I put that education to work as a scientist doing research work such as this. These are peanuts, and most people haven't seen peanuts, so I tell you what, we're going to teach you guys something a little bit about peanuts today. People know about peanuts. I think most people know that peanuts don't grow on trees. Some people do think peanuts grow on trees, but peanuts know they grow on these vines. If you look, you got a plant, and it has kind of a vine that runs across the top of the soil. And the peanuts are actually growing underground. We'll pull these up, turned upside down, and you can see the peanuts. Now, one thing people will often say is that peanuts grow on the roots. Here's the roots. There's no peanuts on the roots. All the peanuts are on the vines. So it's an interesting crop. It's one of the very few crops, or very few plants, that actually plants its own seed. So you start with a flower. Let's see if I can find one. Dig up. Let me find one over here. Here's one that's almost gone. Oh, here we go. So zoom in right here. So you start with the flower. Here's your flower right here. And this flower, of course, has the reproductive parts of the plant, the ovaries and what have you in there. It has both the male and female parts. And you get pollination that happens, basically plant sex going on there, and it produces its offspring. And in the case of here, what will happen is this little stem that's on here will turn into what we call a peg. Let's come back over here. And that peg right here is going to come down and actually go down into the ground. And at the very end of that, that's where your pollinated ovaries and ovules are. That will eventually start swelling up like this right here, and it develops the peanut pod. And the peanut pod is attached to the main stem. And this is what we call the fruit. It contains the seed. And of course you open that up, and on the inside of the peanut pod, you have your peanut kernels or peanut seeds. Very interesting crop. It's one of the, like I said, one of the very few crops that will actually, very few plants that produces its seed underground and plants itself. Well guys, that's going to be a wrap. So we're pretty much through with getting a chance to visit with us down here in Georgia. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got to learn a few new things and see some cool new things. And so with that, we'll talk to you later. Thanks.